Hi guys!
Pre-boot reboot?
Pre-boot reboot! Alright! I have been waiting for this one.
It's been so long since I watched the original first episode of Adventure Time.
And I'm not 100% sure if I've seen the very first time. I've seen a lot of Adventure Time.
We got into a kick where that's all we'd watch alongside regular show.
No, we did watch it because we started over, because we rewatched regular show.
That's right, we did.
And then we were like, hey, let's watch Adventure Time from the beginning. And we didn't get very far because other things happened.
There's 233 episodes of this.
7 seasons.
Its genres are adventure, comedy, wow, awesome.
If you don't know what Adventure Time is, it's different.
There's a lot of theories going around. We're not going to waste time with those. It's about a human boy and his magical dog named Jake. The boy's name is Finn, and they live in the world of Ooh or Woo. Ooh.
I don't know.
Land of Ooh. Woo? I don't know. I don't care.
But yeah, so...
Penn and Jake? Penn? His name isn't Penn. What? It's Finn, I thought.
It is Finn. See? Oh!
Oh!
His name is Penn, the character who would later be renamed Finn.
What?
And a dog named Jake. Interesting. You learn something new every day.
Never knew that.
I'm not surprised. It has 402 votes on this site. 4.94 out of 5, so may as well have 5 stars. It is good, but, you know, as usual, we're both going in as if we've never seen it, and we're judging it based on the first episode. Never seen it before. Here we go. Here is our review.
Right now.
Exactly what I'm going to open it up with.
He hated it!
I hated it! Oh my god! I have never ever seen the pilot episode before.
I just said off camera I was gonna say I'd give it a pass, but like we're supposed to do this from an open mind, I would have to actually agree and say no, because
oh my god, I love Adventure Time.
Adventure Time is good.
But the pilot episode now?
The pilot episode looks like it's MS Paint drawn art set to animation. As pilots are. That's what pilots are. It's never polished. It's not good.
But this is supposed to be. So the very first question, would you continue watching it? Based on the episode that I just finished watching.
The pilot, the first thing.
And based on the fact that, you know, I'm supposed to have never seen the rest of Adventure Time, so I don't know that the animation gets better. I don't know that the voice acting gets better. Because I'm used to Starfire being Princess Bubblegum. That was not Starfire. I just... No, I would not.
If I didn't know it was going to get better, which I do know, but from this standpoint, same, no, because the voice acting is different. Finn's name is Penn. You know,
the animation is very, very crappy. The
story, usually the episodes have an actual story and like a lesson sort of they follow through. This was legit just random.
This was, princess got captured, gotta beat the bad guy, alright, cool, bye princess.
And it just had a bunch of random, like, I'm meditating, I'm connecting to the internet, which I don't think Adventure Time later on ever reference.
Right?
Because there's not supposed to be internet, to my knowledge. I can't remember.
I don't know. But, I mean, we're not supposed to be biased. And I love Adventure Time. I would watch the hell out of Adventure Time.
But if the rest of the series didn't get the upgrade in animation and voice acting, it would be bad. I wouldn't continue watching it.
No, I wouldn't either. We pretty much answered the voice acting one.
Was there anything you liked best?
Well, I like that they still look, you know, the part. I mean...
They kept the design.
Even later on, I wanted to see if the animation was different.
Oh, definitely.
See?
That's a jump in animation.
There's such a dramatic... I wish that we had the technology to show you guys. Go look up the pilot episode, and then look up episode 1. Just watch the first 5 seconds of the pilot and the first 5 seconds of the episode 1.
After the intro, because the pilot has a very lengthy intro.
Well, yeah, I mean... after the intro, and it's actually started, and
Watch
Jake
the
is
first
floating there.
minute
Yeah.
of each and compare,
I mean,
and you'll see exactly why.
we're 11 seconds into the technical first episode, and it looks so much better. Had we started with episode 1 instead of the pilot, this review would have went a completely different way.
So much variety in color versus the pilot, and once again, pilots aren't meant to look this polished, but at the same time,
They can, though, because
can.
I've seen a fair amount of pilot episodes that looked exactly like the rest of the show, and it was amazing, and I was like, hell yeah, I'd watch the heck out of this.
it's a good pitch. I don't know what about the pilot convinced the reps to greenlight it. I don't know. If I was a
I'm
rep,
glad that they did.
yeah, because of what it's become now, it's super great. But if it continued in the animation of the pilot, no.
Lady Rainicorn didn't speak Korean. That's what she speaks, right? Korean.
I believe so. Yeah. She just
Yeah, she made noises like that, or she cooed, you know, she did stuff like that, and it's like, I don't know, I thought it was kind of cool that she spoke another language instead of, clicks and coos and stuff, so
yeah.
that was a downgrade too, but...
Pretty much everything we've been discussing is what we dislike.
Well, because there's not a lot to like about it. The only thing I like about it is the fact that knowing what Adventure Time became, and it's like, okay, well, I'm glad they kept Finn. They made Finn stay the same. Finn looked exactly how he did in the pilot. Jake, Lady Rainicorn, Princess Bubblegum.
There were no character designs that changed.
From the pilot to this.
The animation got better, but the character design stayed the same.
So that's good. Character design, that's what I would give my likable thing to.
Yeah, it stayed true. The story was not captivating, really.
It wasn't, because there wasn't even really a story. It was
a lot of random words.
They're trying to fit too many jokes into it, too.
Mm-hmm. Trying to make too much of an impression. Once again, probably for the reps. I looked down for a second, I looked up, they were snowboarding on penguins. I looked down again, I looked back up, they're talking to a giant fire creature. There's nothing connecting the scenes, So it was not captivating.
I'm not gonna sit here and say that regular Adventure Time is at all 100% not random like that, but at least if I was to look down and then look back up and then suddenly, oh, there's goblins, they're gonna spend a good amount of time with the goblins, and they have a reason to be in the story.
Enough to learn why they're there instead of just, oh, hey, there's a goblin asking a question about where the 7-Eleven is or some stupid shit.
Yeah, because the fire was like, can you direct me to the sun? It shot back to Finn. He was like, it's up there, buddy. He looked up and he goes, oh, duh. And it's like, that wasn't even funny.
It was just lols te random.
It's like, okay, cool, whatever.
We've already, if this had been what we were first shown instead of actual episode 1 of Adventure Time, I would not continue another season.
Oh, hell no. I wouldn't put myself through a whole season of just that.
I would, if it stayed the animation from the pilot, I'd put it on for kids, like my nieces and nephew.
I probably wouldn't even do that because I've seen worse, but I've seen better, too. So, I wouldn't.
I would not cosplay.
It's one of those. Well, no. We do plan on cosplaying Adventure Time, so we're not downing on that. But based on the pilot episode,
our first experience that should have been first experience.
Yeah. So no, based on the pilot, no, we would have never cosplayed from it. But I'm just letting you know, we're not being mean. We are planning on it.
Final thoughts. From an unbiased opinion, I would honestly rate it a 2.
Probably same.
Which is
and
generous.
That is being very generous because there was no story, the animation was shit, the voice acting was, decent at best.
It sort of fit and sort of didn't fit. It felt like they could have...
Now, at the same time, I feel like that's being biased, too, because the only reason I'm upset with the voice acting is because I'm used to the original voice acting. Otherwise, sure, the voice acting's fine. It's just... Finn's just sounded weird. Princess Bubblegum sounded weird. I did not appreciate the random... She's a freaking rainbow unicorn. I don't think she should have been making noises like that. I mean, the cooing, yeah, sure, if she made that constant noise, that would have been fine, but just the weird gargling noise, no.
Is that too much mouthwash?
So, I don't know. I agree with his 2-star rating. I think that's being generous, but at the same time, we try not to rate things too low, because, yeah, we did not like it. But, you know, that's no reason to give it like a 1 or a 0. But, I don't know. If you guys haven't seen Adventure Time, I don't recommend starting with the pilot episode.
No, just watch episode 1.
Yeah, if you have never seen Adventure Time, start with episode 1. Episode 1 is titled Slumber Party Panic. I almost said picnic. Start with episode 1. It's very clean, very smooth animation, not choppy. Do not start with the pilot. You'll
be disappointed.
You might like it. I don't know. Maybe.
You might like it for the ironic kind of sense, like, oh, I've watched every episode of the original, so I can totally go back to the first and still enjoy it. You may be one of those people, but for us, looking at it like we keep repeating over and over, like a broken goddamn record, unbiased opinion, we're supposed to be looking at these like we've never seen what a show has become.
Mm-hmm.
It's based on our very first impression. We've never seen the pilot ever.
So this is a
it's
legit genuine was what I was looking for. This is a genuine reaction.
And our genuine reaction to it is that it's not good and we would not continue it.
We wouldn't recommend it to you.
No.
But, you know, just sitting here, I didn't want to sit here and say, no, don't ever watch Adventure Time because of the pilot. I'm just simply telling you, don't watch the pilot. Go watch the first episode.
Go watch the actual first release episode.
Now, skipping ahead, because we're past final thoughts and we're only 10 minutes into this, changing the review around to the first episode, because we were debating on whether we should start with the pilot or the first, because it said pilot and then the next one said episode 1. Usually the pilot is official episode 1, so I thought it was kind of weird that they had pilot and then episode 1. Now I feel we should give you a very quick run through of episode 1. Granted, I haven't seen it, but it's got the same stuff, it's the same style, so I can just base it off of Adventure Time as it is as a whole. God damn it, we're not watching regular show! Adventure Time!
God damn, dude, come on.
Has a completely different thing. Yes, I would continue watching it. If we watched this first episode, I could tell you right now, yes, I would.
I'd be hooked instantly.
I would too. I can tell you, the thing that I probably would have liked best would have been the animation. It was really pretty, you know, stuff like that.
It's very unique. It's not like most kids' cartoon shows.
I can't answer the what did I dislike because we didn't watch the first episode, we watched the pilot. But I'm just trying to give you an example here. The voice acting
would have been better because they had everyone they wanted.
Yeah.
They
See,
had,
right there.
They had the voice actors of Starfire.
Oh, I have seen the first one.
Yeah, it's a zombie one.
It's a zombie one. Okay, so yeah, so the thing that I disliked about it was zombies. I fucking hate zombies.
0 stars.
0 stars. The animation, beautiful. I love it. You know, I don't even think it really changes throughout the series.
No, it
gets better.
It gets a lot smoother and like colors get crisper, if that's even a way to describe color.
Probably.
Everyone stays the same. There's progression in age voice.
Mm-hmm.
Finn sounds like he's growing up. Jake stops being goofy and gets a little more serious because he becomes a dad. Spoilers. You know, that's what's great about how it goes later on. And if we had watched this, it'd be a complete 180. This would be getting at least, I want to say, more than a 6.
I probably would have given it at least a 7.
7 at best.
Because it is good, but at the same time, I can also sit here and see why people wouldn't like it. From the first, just based on the first episode alone, not the pilot, I can understand why people wouldn't like it. It's too random. It's too kiddie. Too kiddie. There's too many jokes. Finn's catchphrase in this is like mathematical, and it's like, oh, yay. Being a math nerd, I can appreciate that. Someone who doesn't like math, you know, may not think it's as cool as I do. But, and, you know, it changes so much. Yes, we would watch another season. I think we've seen almost every episode. If not, every episode. We've missed a season.
We've missed out on the final season.
Yeah, we haven't watched the final season. No cable, stuff like that. Yes, we would cosplay from it. As I said earlier, we are planning cosplay from it at some point. My absolute favorite thing, this counts as a final thought, because this isn't it's not a lengthy review, this is just catch-up. My final thoughts, my absolute favorite thing about Adventure Time is the gender bent episodes, where you have Fiona and Cake, Prince Bubblegum,
Ice Queen, Marshall Lee,
Flame Prince, yeah.
Flaming Prince.
I was thinking about...
That's a very different thing.
I was thinking about my soccer account.
I was thinking about myself.
Flaming Prince.
That's awesome, and they handled that one pretty good too.
And it's cool because it's like, okay, well you're catering to the fans, but in this case it's not a bad thing.
No.
Usually when shows cater to the fans, it's like, good.
They pander way too much and it goes overboard, and
off the top of my head, I can think of 2 shows that I really appreciate where they pandered to the fans. They listened, they were like, yeah, you like gender bends? Fine, we'll make a story out of it. You like this official name for that character? Fine, we'll, tie it in somehow.
Shout out to the live-action Scooby-Doo movie for giving me Fred as Velma. Or no, Fred as Daphne. But... sorry to get off track, but shout out to the live-action Scooby-Doo movie.
The Adventure Time did that really well with the gender bent stuff, and Hetalia did too.
Other shows have done it really well, and that's another reason.
Those are the only 2 that I've seen, but
that's another reason why I'd suggest Adventure Time, is because it gets so much more diverse.
Diversity.
Yeah. It gets more diversity, and it expands upon fandom ideas instead of just like completely taking the fandom idea and changing the entire aspect of the show. Which I feel is bad, because then you stop changing what the show is actually about. Yeah,
instead what they're doing is they're like, okay, well, here.
It's an arc. It's like a little arc.
Here's 4 or 5 episodes of, your guys' idea. There you go.
And this is how we interpret your idea, and we're going to expand upon it a little. Hope you're happy with it. And I haven't met a single person that's like, I hate the Fiona and Cake episodes because they misinterpreted what Fiona was all about. She's just a female Finn, guys. I mean, shit.
That's all she is.
It's just
because she's a girl does not mean that she would like, adventuring any less than Finn does.
No, I think they handled that perfectly.
She wouldn't do it any better. I mean, he literally was Finn as a girl.
As a girl, and Cake was literally Jake as a female, and also with a cat, because opposites. But she did the exact same thing he did. Everything was spot on. And very enjoyable.
But yeah, so the point is, when it comes to watching a news show, don't ever rely on the pilot episode.
3 episode, in this case 4 episode rule.
Yeah, because obviously you'd be like, wait, this isn't even the same show, right?
Yeah, the jump in animation and voice acting and overall tone of the show changes so drastically. If you're going to watch the pilot, please keep an open mind, and then immediately watch episodes 1, 2, and 3, and you'll see that it gets so much better.
Yeah. So, all in all, and then regular Adventure Time, did I rate it? I said we'd give it a 7, right?
Yeah.
So, that's a dramatic jump from a 2 to a 7. That's 5 extra stars.
That just shows you how important storytelling and animation can be.
How it can affect your fans' first impression of your show.
Exactly. Just because something has an amazing story doesn't mean it's going to hook someone. It's got to look good too sometimes.
And sometimes it doesn't, sometimes voice acting can kill an entire show.
I mean, to make this topical, if Yuri on Ice had the same animation that this pilot had, no one would like it as much as they do, because the animation in Yuri on Ice is super refined and polished. This is not, because it's a pilot.
But even so, you could still technically consider episode 1 of Yuri on Ice a pilot episode.
Yeah.
Every single show has a pilot episode, and that is episode 1.
It's the pitch to the representative or the producer or whatever.
But then you see something like that where you're like, okay, well, Yuri on Ice had episode 1, which is obviously that show's pilot. It was really good. The animation didn't change, voice acting didn't, nothing changed past the first episode, and everybody was hooked from the first episode. Who would have known we would have liked an anime based on ice skating?
But that, once again, like I said, that goes to show you that you want to have a good combination of animation, voice acting, and storytelling, pacing, theme.
And it's something just as simple. Sure, you love the voice acting, you love the animation, but the story's shit. Or, hey, the story is amazing, the animation is beautiful, but the voice acting sounds like nails on a chalkboard.
It's so shrill and just bad. You know, you can go through any variation of good animation, good voice acting, bad voice acting.
Funimation, stop dubbing yaoi animes.
Okay. We'll have a quick top 10 worst voice acting companies.
Gravitation.
Save that for the G's, man. But yeah, point overall of this entire rant that seemed to get a little bit off track of Adventure Time is have an open mind when you start a new show. Give it time.
Give it time to adjust, you know.
But if you honestly don't like it after even the first 2 episodes, even after the first episode, if you're a person that dips your toe into the water and it's too cold for you to begin with, don't get in. That's your choice.
Don't go any farther. If you don't want to, you don't have to. We have our rule of watching the first 3 before we make any final decisions. But I mean, taking a look back on previous episodes on this blog, I can think of like 3 off the top of my head that we watched where we said no. We would not waste our time after the first episode, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, it's normal. You don't like it, you don't like it. There's no forced enjoyment. You know? To continue more jumping off to other things, I honestly didn't think I'd like Yuri on Ice.
I didn't either.
And you'll hear our full honest opinions when we get to it, but
not for like a couple of years,
not for a couple of years, but after the first episode, I was actually kind of hooked and curious as to where the story was going. And that's, once again, it's a story about ice skating. I don't give a shit about ice skating. I
knew
at least competitive ice skating.
I knew competitive ice figure skating, was I knew it was a thing, but like I've never been invested in it. I never hear anything about it, so it was like, wow, I'm honestly legitimately shocked Yuri on Ice got me so hooked. But it wasn't the ice skating.
It was the story they were telling. It
was the story, the animation.
The characters are fucking unique and funny and cool, There's a Canadian ice skater named JJ who's super full of himself.
I love him.
And he's amazing. And there's the 2 Yuris and Victor. It's good, but once again, save that for whenever we get to it, so we're not...
The point is, don't just sit there and be like, no, Adventure Time does not look like something I'd be interested, doesn't sound like something. Give it a try before you say no.
Just because the show's
point.
Aimed at kids doesn't mean you're not going to enjoy it,
And just because you think it's aimed at kids doesn't necessarily mean it is. Look at Regular Show. Regular Show at first, I thought it was for kids, but it
has swearing.
Swearing and there's a lot to Regular Show.
There's violence in it too, and it's just...
Where you're just like, I wouldn't show this to my kids. Hell no. But at the same time I would, because I'd be one of those parents who don't care.
Yeah.
Point is, don't knock it till you try it.
At least tried.
So, with that being said, that wraps up tonight's
cartoon lineup.
Next, in a few days, Our next lineup is Sonic the Hedgehog, Adventures of the Gummy Bears, and
Aeon Flux, which I believe is an it's a cartoon based on the movie Aeon Flux that I've never actually seen, but it'll be interesting.
Anyways, that's what you guys have to look forward to in a couple days, so I'm excited for Sonic the Hedgehog.
We'll see you guys then.